Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss John Milton's poem on his blindness. We have already read one poem of John Milton on his 23rd birthday. Now, you are aware about Milton. Milton was born in 1608 and he died in 1674. He is a common consent, is one of the greatest name in English poetry. There is no doubt in it that he is one of the greatest English poet. Politically and his religious beliefs, he was a Puritan. Puritan is a sect in Christianity. They think themselves more pure. They consider themselves the true followers of the Bible and the teachings. But he was far from sharing the average Puritan's aversion to art and beauty. What does it mean? That the Puritans were religious people. They even prohibited or forbidden any kind of entertainment. For example, the theater, the song, the singing, and others things were banned in the society. But Milton, although he was a Puritan, he believed in their philosophy, but he was not against literature or art. Some of his early poems, like Al Allegro or Al Pensiero and Lycidias, are among the very best of his kind. But in our course, his sonnets are prescribed. On his 23rd birthday, it was a sonnet, and on his blindness, this is also a sonnet. He was engaged in public life and hold office, high office under Cromwell in England's brief period as a republic. And his famous poem, the epic, which is called Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained, these are his epics poem. And Samson and Agonists were written when he became blind. So it shows that the man has a vast learning, a very sensitive temperament, and he has a very rich imagination, and his style and diction are very lofty and majestic. He has used a very high language in his poetry. So his period, his life became very difficult after restoration in 1660. Milton was out of favor because of his pro-Cromwellian attitude. It was only the intervention of influential friends which protected him from political persecutions. And that's why that there is a poem, there's another poem of Milton, when the assault was intended. In that poem, he has described that the opposite parties, the people gathered on his door and they want to break his door and he want to kill him. And realizing that the public sentiments is against him, Milton wrote that poem and hang it on the door, of his house, so that anyone who want to harm or kill the poet, first of all he can read the poem. He can read the poem, and he hopes that after reading the poem, no one would dare to harm him or to kill him. So that was the thing. That was a brief introduction of John Milton. But in short, you can say that Milton is a very great poet. He is considered a classic poet in English poetry. Now, this poem on his blindness is written about his condition and about the expectation of the God or his creation, and the poet justification. Poet also gives his explanation about the state of his life, that what the God expects to him when he has become blind in such a young age. Now, look at the beginning of the poem. When I consider how my light is spent. Now look at that, the beginning. The poet is not blaming the God or the nature or anyone else that he has made me blind in such a young age. But rather he is saying that he has used the light, the brightness, you can say. He has used so much of eyes, and he has read so much that now the thing is complete. The thing has become empty. You can say that. That he has, for example, if you have 1,000 rupees in your pocket, and when you go to the market and when you purchase a lot of things, then all the 1,000 rupees are utilized. You don't have any single penny. So you know that how much things you can purchase in 1,000 rupees. So similarly, the poet is saying that the God has given him the light, the you can say that brightness in his eyes as the other people, but some people use it very diligently and very miserly, and they continue to see till 90 or 100 ages, 100 years age. But he has used his light, his brightness, his so in such a exhaustive way that the light has become dim, and now he is blind. When I consider how my light is spent, before half my days in this dark world and white, I have not just lived a half of my life in this world, and I am become blind. And that one talent which is death to hide. Now, this is the commitment which is reflected here, because Milton considered himself a divinely inspired poet. What does it mean? That the poet thinks that God has given him to write poetry. God has given him a talent to write great poetry, and he says that now I have not accomplished, I have not finished the job, and my light has been snatched away. So he is saying that, and that one talent which just to hide, that talent which the God has given me, that talent would end when my life is over, but that has not happened. I am alive, so it means that the talent is within me. Lost with me, useless. But now I am unable to use the talent. I am not making use of that talent of writing poetry, because I have become blind. So how could I write? How could I continue to pursue this field? Though my soul more bent to serve therewith my Maker. So I have a burning desire to justify the ways of God to mankind. That is the line, that is the beginning line of his epic, The Paradise Lost. That's the theme of Milton's poetry. He says that I want to justify the ways of God to mankind. And here also he is saying that to serve therewith my Maker. that this is my desire, this is my will, that I should use the talent that you can, what do you call it, that I hope that talent is sufficient to understand you, and present my true account, lest he returning chide. Look at the commitment. That chide means that the God would school him, say him that you have not utilized it, because if, for example, if a student doesn't complete the homework, then the teacher asks him that why have you not completed the homework? So that's things that when after death the God would ask him that why he has not written that or scold him that I have given you the talent to write poetry, but you have not fulfilled the talent. Doth God exact day labor like night? Now the Milton very amusingly, in a very light way, asks that does the God still expect me that I should write poetry when he had made me blind in a young age? How could it happen? How could I could perform? How could I achieve that target which God has given to me? I fondly ask, but patience to prevent. But somehow he was, because look at his magnitude, his kindness, and his regard, and his devotion towards God, that these ideas came into my mind, but patience stopped me to not to express such kind of views in front of God, because He is the Maker, He is the Creator. So, so we should not say such things which harms the dignity of the Almighty. So this is the first part of the poem, and I think in my next lecture I will discuss the another part of the poem, and I hope that you would continue to watch on the next video. That would be called part 2. Thank you.